Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Episode 121 of Rickcast is starting now. I hope everybody's having a wonderful day right about now. It is the 4th of June, 2025. The summer is very close to starting. I mean, for most of you, it is started, and you're getting your planes or you're traveling or whatever else you're doing. You're out and about. It's getting hot out. Side note, let me know in the comment section if you can actually hear my fan going because I'd like to stay a little bit cooler than, and if I can get away with having the fan on, I will. So you let me know if you can hear it. If not, then kudos to StreamYard for canceling out most of the noise. Obviously, you can't filter out all of the. All right, so we got positive on no fan. Awesome, thank you. Appreciate it. Just got a good show tonight, as always. As my bar rats are filtering in, we're live on Rumble and Getter and D Live and Kick and my one guy on Twitch, and of course the bar rats filtering in on YouTube and X as well. So let's see here. What are we going to be talking about? We have really. It's got the can. Oh, I bet you it's switched. Yep, it switched back. There you go. The crazy thing is, G Money, is that I made sure the snowball was set up, but then it switched out on me. Good call on that. Thank you. Yeah, because everything comes with a stupid camera or a microphone so they can monitor you. And the one I have there is that. So thank you, G Money. You caught it. Appreciate that. Yeah, I don't know why it does that. It just switches on and off and it's stupid. But this is why the bar rats are so vitally important to this show, because you guys keep me on my toes and make sure that you catch me when I fall, which is awful. Anyway, we got a couple hot takes. First major story we're going to be talking about is Karine Jean-Pierre has apparently decided to go the Jake Tappa route. And she has a book coming out. She has a book coming out in the fall, and she's now no longer a Democrat. She's an independent. And the fact is that people will fall for this. Now, of course, nobody's buying Jake Tappa's book. And I have a feeling that do you ever get to the age where you just start swallowing, coughing your spit? Because I've hit that. I'm going to be 44 in a couple weeks. And apparently, once you hit 40, you can just be talking and saliva just goes like up down your throat, and then so it just happens to me now. Anyway, Karine Jean-Pierre is now, she's an independent after serving her masters for 4 years, getting notoriety, paid, fame, all these kinds of things, and being a top level conspirator, because she went out there every single day and she pushed the agenda. Now she's going to turn around and say, I'm an independent now. These people should not be allowed to profit off of their time in office. They just shouldn't. They shouldn't be allowed to write books for 10 years after they're out of office. There should be rules in place that if you serve, right? If you are a member of an administration or a member of Congress or any of these, you can't write a book about your experience for 10 years. Why do I say 10 years? Because by then you'll have a new administration, maybe two, and nobody's going to care. Nobody's going to care about it. But at this point, they are going to continue to do this. Thank you, Amber. Looks like Amber just found our channel and she thinks that we are Trump sycophants. We're not Trump sycophants. We know, I mean, Amber, if you're new here, you realize that I've gone pretty hard on Trump for a lot of different things. But he's better than the crime ring that is the Democratic Party, that is full of felons and rule breakers and pretty much treasonous losers. But anyway, I'm glad you're here and I appreciate that you're here, Amber. Do me a favor, hit the like button. Everybody on YouTube, hit that like button, help the show grow. And Amber, we welcome liberals. We do welcome liberals here, but we do punch back. figuratively, of course, and it's all in good fun. The bar rats, we welcome all, as long as you're willing to, as long as your skin's thick enough, you're more than welcome here. Anyway, so yeah, grifters are going to grift, Dean. You're right about that, and that's why there needs to be rules in place for it. And this is both sides. You know, I don't want books from Sean Spicer or any of these other people. My time in office, I don't care. Most of these books are boring anyway. Like, oh, and then I had a new office. Like, nobody cares about this stuff. It's just a grift, and I don't think you should be allowed to profit off of that. So that's gonna be our first major story. Second one, I'm gonna go to task with the War Room once again with Steve Bannon and Liz Yore, who ironically enough, Elizabeth Yore follows me on X. I didn't realize that until I tagged her in a post. And yeah, now apparently the War Room is taking credit for the Charlotte traditional Latin mask, the ban being pushed back to its original October 2nd date. And I'm just thinking to myself, Liz Yore and Steve Bannon have done nothing but bash the Holy Father. He wasn't even in office for a week and they were already going after him. And now they're going to come around and claim all these other kinds of things. Just stick to talking about budget issues, okay? Please stop using my faith. And maybe you both are practicing Catholics. I can't question your faith journey. Can't question it. But at sometimes it just feels really thin when you guys are doing these kinds of things. And now, you know, the video is absolutely mind melding. And we'll take a look at that in our second story. Third, Musk v. Trump. I don't think anybody is shocked that this happened. When you have two high personality individuals, I don't want to call them alpha, because it's like, oh, everybody's an alpha. If everybody's an alpha, nobody's an alpha. When you have two big personalities working together, this ends up happening more often than not. It's why your favorite band broke up 2 or 3 times, because the guitarist and the lead vocalist can't get along, or whatever the case may be. So this was bound to happen. We all need to remember that Musk was a liberal and still is technically a liberal. He never became a quote unquote Republican. He just voted for Trump because it was the better option for him. And he did it to make sure that his contracts, Starlink and Tesla and all these other things, continue to stay intact. So he's going to come out and do his things, and the Musk sycophants and all these. I don't care about either one of them. But if you're shocked that this happened, then you need to be paying attention to dynamics between, you know, big personalities. It happens. And then finally, Marvel did the meme. For a long time, there was a meme, especially when Marvel was race swapping every major character. They always there was always this meme that would pop around that says Ryan Gosling as the Black Panther. Except now in the comic run, they actually did introduce T'Challa's white son, which is kind of funny. I'm not going to lie. It's kind of funny that Marvel kind of leaned into the meme. Of course, they'll end up making the white Aryan son a certain Yahtzee and all, and I'm sure they'll find a way to connect him back to the mustache man. But those are our stories for the day. Do me a favor, like, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell. Love everybody that's hanging out with us. Even if you don't agree with me, that's okay. You can be wrong. And let's get to it. Of course, before we get to anything else, we need to thank the person or the company that is kind of allowing me to use their product unabashedly in the opening, in that opening 10-minute image before the show starts, and that is tradflags.com. Tradflags.com is not an official sponsor of the program and is not an actual, I don't have to claim it as a sponsor because they're not, but I do want to say thank you to tradflags.com simply for not reaching out to me and, you know, threatening me to take down the image. The image you saw in the lead up in the countdown was from tradflags.com. It was the flag of the most sacred heart of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. And this month, you have flags for every month, and of course, this month being the Sacred Heart. Last month was the Blessed Mary Mother flag. Next month will be the Precious Blood, and so forth. Check them out. Tradflags.com. Tradflags.com. Not an official sponsor, just being, promoting their product so that way I can continue to use the screensaver. It's really selfish. But if you guys go, they have awesome products. They got specialty flags. They got all these other cool things as well. All right, let's get to our first hot take. First, little bit of news. These hot takes are not although sometimes they end up going 25, 30 minutes. I don't think I have a lot to say about them, but I'd like you to know what's going on with them. So this is from Michael Haynes, doing great work at the Vatican. The Holy See Press confirmed that Pope Leo spoke with President Putin by phone today. During this phone call, in addition to matters of mutual interest, special attention was paid to the situation in Ukraine and peace. The Pope made an appeal for Russia to make a gesture that would promote peace, stressed the importance of dialogue for the realization of positive contact between the parties, and seek a solution to the conflict. Pope Leo referred to Patriarch Kirill, thanking him for the good wishes he received at the beginning of his pontificate, and emphasized how common Christian values can be a light to help seek peace, defend life, and seek genuine religious freedom. Good on Pope Leo XIV. I am a Pope Leo XIV fanboy, so I am very happy to see him do these things. So good on Pope Leo XIV, doing the best you can to bring peace to all places. And hopefully there will be positive flutes. I don't think you can get positive flutes out of it, but positive fruits. I'm having a tough time tonight, folks. Of this labor. It'll be all right. It's just the speaking is difficult for me. So that's our first hot take there. I just want to let you know, in our daily fanboying out over Pope Leo XIV. That's our daily fanboying out. Second hot take, yesterday or Monday, because it's not Wednesday. Monday, we talked about the incident in Boulder, Colorado with the illegal immigrant that overstayed his vacation visa, I believe it is. He overstayed a visa, and he's got wife and kids and all these other things. And of course, he was going to be put in jail. And they were like, hey, we are going to deport this man. Well, looks like another judge named Gordon Gallagher, who's a Biden appointee. It doesn't really matter now. I don't really like how these people are, well, it's a Trump appointee or a Bush appointee or they're all terrible, right? 99% of them are terrible. So I don't care who appointed them. They're all power hungry judges. Very few of them are actually ruling as a judge. They're all sycophantic power grabbing at this point. Anyway, Judge Gallagher, if you want to call him that, has issued an order blocking the Trump administration from deporting the wife and 5 children of the Boulder terror suspect, Muhammad Solomon. Now, this is a real picture of Judge Gallagher, which, by the way, that's a heck of a jawline right there. That's like some Minecraft looking jawline. But the fact of the matter is, none of the people here, the wife and the 5 kids, none of them are legal. None of them are here legally. The due process is actually over. The due process is over because once they committed the crime, and once they found out that that the actual person here, Muhammad Solomon, once you find out that that dude is not a legal citizen, the due process is over. You've committed a crime and you're not here legally. And guess what? If your wife and 5 kids are not here legally either, their due process is done as well. All of you have to go back. There is no idea here. There is no issue here where we have to look out for the people, the collateral damage, if you will, right? The collateral damage of, oh well, what's going on with the kids? What about the kids and all of these other things? It doesn't matter. It does not matter, because the family was taken into custody after Solomon allegedly attacked a pro-Israel rally with things on Sunday. Judge Joe Gordon B. Gallagher issued the order Wednesday, citing potential irreparable harm without due process. Here's the thing: due process was done. Due process was done. He committed the crime. They said, "Are you here legally?" He said, "No." Are your is your family, is your wife or kids, are they here legally? No. Okay, that's it. Due process is now over. Judge Gallagher and the rest of the judicial tyrannical state has invented this idea of due process, that everybody needs a lawyer and everybody. No, you committed a crime. It's time to go. It's time to go. Now, of course, Solomon's like, my family didn't know about the attack. I don't care. I don't care, because it's time for you to leave. You're not even supposed to be here. And the fact that these judges are essentially weaving brand new case law out of nothing, out of thin air, to satisfy their own perverted sense of importance, which it really is. It is a perverted sense of importance these people have. And it needs to be completely erased, or in effect, it doesn't need to be. What's going to happen? Let me rephrase it a better way so it doesn't sound like I'm actually encouraging it. You're going to force Trump to ignore the courts. You're forcing Trump to delegitimize the very courts that are trying to preserve some whatever sense of perverted justice that they have. This is a dangerous situation of the court's own doing. Okay, Trump is trying to literally enforce immigration laws that are on the books. There is no other country in the Western Hemisphere or on God's green earth that will allow you to commit a crime if you are in the country illegally, and then due process. Oh, well, what about due process? No, if you commit a crime like this anywhere else, depending on the country, you go straight to jail. You go straight to jail. You go straight to die. There's, you know what I mean? There's no ifs, ands, or but about it. You're done. But yet here in these United States, we have these judges, and really it's so Judge Gallagher can get the pats on the back from his lefty friends and really kind of stick it to Trump. Judges' roles are it's not to uphold the law, right? There's a whole thing right there. The rule of law is the backbone of the judicial system, is what I'm trying to say. And without the rule of law, there's no use for judges. Do they see this paradox that's coming? If there is no rule of law, with you spinning up due process in a magical fashion, well, everybody needs due process. He had his due process. Are you here legally or illegally? If you're here legally, you're entitled to all the things under the Constitution: right to a fair trial, right to an attorney, yada, yada, yada. If you're not here legally, guess what? 1 plane ticket, or in your case, 6 plane tickets back to whatever country you'd like to go to. But not in this case. Nope. We have to deal with these judges who are absolutely in love with the smell of their own farts. And that's really all this is. It's absolutely sickening that we're getting to this point where you're going to have half of the country, and I say this, half of the country is going to demand that Trump ignores the courts. Trump got elected on deportations. He got elected on the idea of, we need to deport all the people that are here illegally. All the people that are here illegally, they need to go. And the judges are stepping in and saying, nah, you can't do it for this made up reason of due process, which the lawyers think is a great idea, because guess what? They're getting billed hourly for it. And the judges love it because it keeps them employed and gives them more relevance. Everybody's in the power play mode right now, instead of doing what is in the best interest of you and me, actual citizens of these United States. They're all looking out for their own selfish interests. And of course, they blame Trump and they point the finger at Trump. He's the one who's selfish. He is the one who's he's a maniac. He's a tyrant. Yet at different varying levels of the judicial branch, you have a guy with a gavel, or as the amazing one, Mark Kreslins, used to say, lawyers in fancy robes just spinning stuff out of thin air, openly defying immigration law. And it's really, I don't know. Can you see this the same way I do? I see we get to a point where half of the country, everybody that voted for Trump, or a vast majority that voted for Trump, saying these people have to go. And I don't care if the courts say you can't do it anyway. They're pushing for a delegitimization of their own system. It's not a good thing. I am not championing this. I don't like this idea. But I see, because one of the things I did really well in my Homeland Security Masters is I do very well at wargaming. I am very good at wargaming and seeing down the line of these specific types of issues. And I see a case where half of the country demands that Trump ignores one of the three branches of government because they are openly stepping in the way of what the elected president of these United States, who's in charge of the executive branch and immigration, at least immigration enforcement, falls under his jurisdiction, is being blocked. And this is not going to work out the way the left wants. Or maybe they do want it. Maybe they do want to delegitimize the courts because they want chaos. Maybe that's what they're looking for. Either way, this is just not a good thing going forward. All right, this is Rickcast. Like, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell. Let's get to our first story of the night, my beautiful, beautiful bar rats. What does it take to be a bar rat? Just hang out every night, hit the like button, comment on the show, let me know what you're thinking, be a part of it. That's it. You don't need any subscriptions. You don't need to do anything else. Just you being here and hanging out with me makes you a bar rat. And I appreciate every single one of you. All right, let's get to our first story of the night. Speaking of these megalomaniacs, that was the word I was looking for in the last story. Speaking of megalomaniacs, Biden's press secretary leaves the Democratic Party in time to sell her book. Let's take a listen to the lesbian. And you think I'm being degrading during Pride Month. By the way, Pride Month doesn't exist anymore. It's just the month of the Sacred Heart of our Lord and Savior. But every time you talk to her, she always would identify that was the leading character as a black woman who's a lesbian. That was how she always prefaced everything. So guess what? She wanted to use that as her defining characteristic. I'm going to call it out. Let's see what the lesbian has to say.
And I am the author of a new book that's coming out this fall called Independent. It's coming out on October 21st. So please do grab it. And the reason I wrote this book coming out of
the reason I wrote this book is because I need money. The reason I wrote this book is because I need money. And I'm trying to get on Fox News, or I'm trying to get invited to TPUSA, TPUSA as their latest, latest ambassador and or speaker. I'm trying to get on the grifting circuit. I'm trying to do all these other kinds of things.
White House. Serving as White House press secretary was an honor and a privilege. But
she lied every single day. Sorry, she's not going to get through. She lied every single day. Every single day she lied. And she made a mockery out of that office or out of that position every day. And now we're all just supposed to be like, oh, okay, now that you've left the Democratic Party, we're all just supposed to shut up and go, okie dokie. And guess what? It's going to work. It's going to work, ladies and gentlemen. She's going to get on Fox News. She's going to get on TPUSA. She's going to get on one of these other things. You're right. She does.
The people that come up to me, strangers that come up to me just across the country as I'm traveling And sometimes right in my neighborhood, at a grocery store, supermarket, airport, my daughter's school, the number one question they ask me is, Karine, how do we get out of this?
No, I doubt anybody's asking this lesbian who made it a mission to cover for an aging skin suit of a man. Wait, whose name Richard? Is that the kid's name? I don't even know. Anyway. Oh, is that the person who comes up to her? I just come up to her, ma'am. Anyway, she comes up. She every day she participated in deceiving the public on Joe Biden's health or on what was going on, who was in charge, all of these other things. Not a soul. I guarantee you, there's not a soul that's running up to her asking, how do we get out of this? Because she put us in it.
How do we protect our democracy? How do we protect vulnerable communities among us? What do we do next? Because we don't have answers here.
And why would we ask a lady whose only qualifying characteristic is that she's a lesbian? Like what qualifies you to answer said question? You weren't a politician. You don't have any experience except lying. What did she do when she went to, let's see, what'd she do for schooling? She graduated from Kellenberg. No, that's a high school. Where did you do? The New York Institute of Technology. You went to the New York Institute of Technology and you got a master's in public affairs from Columbia. Probably a DEI admission. So what is your qualification, Karine? What is your qualification to get us out of this besides lying and being a lesbian?
That's what they ask me. And this is my answer.
Buy my book, which, by the way, buy my book. You know, everybody has a book to sell.
And what I mean by that is, in an era of misinformation, disinformation, the regressiveness of social policy.
How can she even say that with a straight face in an era of misinformation and disinformation? Lady, you are the misinformation. You are the disinformation. You're the one who did it.
See what we're seeing currently right now. What I have decided to do, and I really have thought long and hard about this.
You've been out of a job for like 3 weeks. It's June. You've been out of a job for 5 months. How were you able to write a book in 5 months? She didn't. Somebody ghost writ. There's a very people don't realize with these books. People worry about AI, but somebody who writes a book with AI is just as is doing the same thing that all of these politicians, all of these celebrities do. There's a company, and I know because my financial advisor actually told me this once. He's like, you should be able to write a book. There's a company, you pay them like $4,000. They come, they interview you, they put a tape recorder in, they ask you about your life, they plot out the major points, you give them any information you want, and boom, they'll write a book for you. There are professional ghostwriters, there are ghostwriting companies, which means she also probably started this process, you know, in November and December as well. You know, she did not write this book. Somebody else wrote this book for her, and now she's going to pretend like she sat down and did this. And so it's absolutely, yeah, that Muppet did not write that book.
Is to follow my own compass.
Your compass is like Jack Sparrow's from Pirates of the Caribbean. It only points towards the money. Don't give me this, let your conscience be your guide. First of all, you engage in unnatural acts, so your moral compass is already frayed to begin with. Secondly, we have 4 years of you lying through your teeth every single day, so that's the second question of your moral compass. The third one is, as soon as it's financially viable, you're dumping the Democratic Party to be an independent so you can make all the grifting rounds. She'll be on Timcast in 6 months.
And that's what I've done. And that's what this book does. And here's the truth. And here's how I will lay it out to you. I think we need to stop thinking in boxes and think outside of our boxes.
So are you going to stop introducing yourself as a black lesbian? Because that's what you do. Every single time. You're a black lesbian. That's how you qualify yourself in every discussion. And she will qualify herself in every discussion and in every interview with that qualifier. So she puts herself in those check boxes to begin with.
And not be so partisan. And the way that I see moving forward in this space that we're in right now is, if you are willing to stand side by side with me,
I won't right now. I guarantee I will not stand side by. You are a liar. You pushed out you defended policies that you knew would hurt the middle class and average Americans. You stood by while the border was overrun for 4 years, and you repeated the lie that the border has never been more safe and secure, and that Joe Biden's in top mental health every day. So I will not stand shoulder to shoulder with you. Not at the least. And I won't stand next to somebody who uses identity politics to get what they want.
Regardless of your how you identify politically, and as long as you respect the community that I belong to. And
she just said she didn't want to be put in boxes. Now she's talking about the community she belongs to. She can't even get this announcement right. She can't even get the announcement right without qualifying where she belongs, in the communities and in the boxes and all these other kinds of nonsensical things.
Vulnerable communities that I respect. I will be there with you. I will move forward with you.
I don't want you to move forward with me. I'd rather have an actual Muppet. I'd rather be in a foxhole with Oscar the Grouch. I'd rather be in a foxhole with Snuffleupagus than be in a foxhole or stand shoulder to shoulder with her. Because she's going to stab you in the back at the first chance she gets.
I think so important. So this book, Independent, it's about looking outside of boxes, not.
Remember, she just said the community I belong to. So are you looking outside of boxes, or are you using that as, is that the best, the slogan that tested the best? Is that the best one?
Just always being in a partisan stance. And how do we move forward together in a compassionate way? In a way that really, truly cares about people. October 21st.
Buy my book. I can't say it. I want to say it, but I can't say it. Anyway, this is from dnyuz.com. Biden's White House press secretary, Karine Jean-Pierre, has decided she's not a Democrat anymore, pointing to the party's betrayal of President Joe Biden as her rationale. We have that too. Check this out.
Personally, I think what was the toughest thing to see in the 3 weeks was there was a disconnect for me. What was happening with leadership in the Democratic Party, and how it was truly, as my former colleague, communications director, Ben LeBolt said, it was a firing squad, and I had never seen anything like it before. I'd never seen a party do that in the way that they did, and it was hurtful and sad to see that happening. A firing squad around a person who I believe was a true patriot, a person who I believe did everything that he can for this country.
She's still lying. This was in February. She's still lying about Joe Biden's health. She's still lying about it. This is before Jake Tapper's book came out.
A person who I believe, as I mentioned before, has done more in one term than most presidents had done in 2 terms, historical things. And I was shocked by what I was seeing.
And Karine, just to clarify, these are other Democrats and Democratic leadership coming out against Biden.
Yep, I had never seen anything like that. That was, if you're asking me, the thing that I saw in those 3 weeks, that was shocking. Shocking. And instead of coming together to really be unified and trying to figure out how do we save our democracy, how do we fight back, that's what I was seeing. And, that's what we decided to do for 3 weeks. And, it was truly, truly unfortunate. And I think it hurt us more than than I think folks realized to have done that.
And I know we're coming. And thank you so much.
Whatever. She's lying there. She's lying in the announcement, but it doesn't matter, guys. It doesn't matter. I'm going to tell you exactly what this is going to do. She is going to get on this press circuit. Here we go. Happened today. Brandon Straka from the Walk Away movement, right? He's a former liberal. He's a guy who voted for Trump. Karine Jean-Pierre announces a decision to hashtag walk away from the Democratic Party. I'd love to interview you about this. There it is. There it is. Let the grift begin. Let it begin. Let the grift begin. Let her go on all. She's going to be on Megyn Kelly. She's going to go on Hannity. She's going to go on all of them. She'll promote the book, and nobody will ask her any of the tough questions. They're going to go, oh, I think it's so great that you left the Democratic Party and now you're in independent. And, what was it like being in that White House? And they're all, honestly, I think this is a coordinated campaign between Jake Tapper's book and her. We could possibly start to see in the next couple months the blame starting to be shifted towards Jill. I kid you not. I think this is a Democratic op to start pushing the blame towards Jill Biden. I really do. Because that's the only person that could actually take be set up for this blame, for making him continue to run. Because they won't go after Kamala, because Kamala is still, for some reason, a front runner for the 2028 nomination. Probably just because, people there's nobody else to talk to. But the fact of the matter is, it's working. Republicans and conservatives are already going to embrace. Oh, you've walked away. How? Shut up. No, she hasn't. She's got a book to sell, you idiot. This time next year, June 4th of 2026, when the midterms are coming, she's going to go right back to the Democratic Party, and she's going to go right back to promoting the values and all the things that are completely at odds with conservatives. She's going to be around just long enough to push this book. Nobody's going to buy it because the reaction has to be this. People have to look at this for what it is, which is a complete and total job. All of this. That's right. That's right. James O'Keefe just exposed Jill's chief of staff. And I think this book and a lot of other things are going to start pushing, towards her. Why was he there? He had cancer, all these other things. Because right now the light is on and they're all scattering like cockroaches. These books just happen to be in the press. It happened to be in the pipeline. And she'll use the car wash and her rounds on the interview circuit to distance herself from Jill. Because the question about Jill will come up. And I think she's going to take that opportunity to try and distance herself from it. But all this is, it's a grift. She's gonna be invited to conservative conferences. She's gonna go on every conservative show. She's gonna go on Patrick Bet-David, who I can't stand, but she's gonna go on there. She's gonna go on all these places, and she's gonna talk about how she's an independent now, and that we need to work together, and we need to find common cause, and we need to save our democracy. Even though we're not a democracy, we're a republic. The word democracy does not exist in the U.S. Constitution, but fine, whatever. That phrase never came up, and people, the conservative movement loves this. This is great. They all have a brand new person Benny Johnson will have her on his show. They'll all talk to her. They're all buddy. They're all in the same club. You and I just aren't in it. And it's pathetic. And the fact that she was able to do this, and the fact that she's able to make money from it, and the fact that it is going to make her money, and it's going to get her set up on a show. Somebody on X replied to me and said she'll be on Fox News within 6 months. I think he said 6 months. I guarantee it. That's what this book is designed to do. She probably didn't get any offers from, Jen Psaki Toomey, right? She's got a job on MSNBC. She got a show. CNN probably didn't offer her a job. The View probably didn't offer her a job. None of these places offered her a post White House gig, which is all these people want. They want to find a way to keep the money flowing So yeah, she's got this book, and that book will be used for speaking fees. That's what you get, a book so you can get on the talk. You get on a book so you can get on the speaking circuit. That's really what it is. A book is done to do. A book is done to do. A book is done so you can promote it to go speak somewhere. She'll have speaking fees. They won't be exorbitant. She'll make like $5,000-$10,000 a speaking fee. She'll go around. This book is a flare to get her a job somewhere. That's all it is. Either on the speaking circuit, on Fox as a regular contributor, one of these places, maybe a podcast, something to get her more work. Because she doesn't care about any of this. She couldn't even make that statement a continuous thing. She couldn't she couldn't make sense out of it. She talked about not putting people into boxes or anything. And then she said, but the community identify, which is a box. Because you're saying, well, I'm from this community. That's the box I belong to. And so it's absolutely pathetic. It's not even pathetic. I'm not shocked. And I said it in the intro, in the opening here to Rickcast, that there needs to be a moratorium of at least 10 years for anybody in a government position, whether you're a cabinet member, if you worked in the administration, like anybody that's in the current Trump administration, they shouldn't be able to write a book about their experience in the Trump administration for 10 years until 2038. Nobody's going to care in 10 years about your 3 months at the Pentagon or whatever the case may be. And it will dissuade people, if that's the right word, from doing this, from well, of course, the capitalists and the libertarian, she have the right to capitalize on her time. No, she shouldn't. If you work in the government, you're supposed to be serving. It's a service, right? You're supposed to be serving the people of this union and not anything else. So, people in the chat are talking pretty correctly. Yeah, Lou, she was bad at her job. Peter Ducey lit her on fire every single day, figuratively, YouTube, figuratively. And she did not react well to his questions. It's probably, and Crotchy Elder says, probably why she hasn't gotten a job at NBC. But Fox will put her on in a second. Let's mark it. It's June 4th in the fall when they announce new shows. She's either going to be a full-time contributor on like the 5, or she's going to have some kind of recurring role on some Fox show, or she might even have a show on one of the networks, because that's all this book is for. Or she'll get a job on the speaker circuit. So that's what this is designed for. She doesn't care about any of it. And that's why she's an independent now, because it'll be easier for her to go on Fox. Oh, I used to be a Democrat, but now I'm an independent. When she goes in that voting booth, she's voting Democrat. Let's not even get it twisted. Let's not get it twisted. She votes Democrat every time she goes in that booth. And I don't think there's anybody, unless you have an IQ that is above lukewarm soup, thinks that anything different. All right. Yeah. So obviously I had things to say about that. And it's just, it really, the thing that really gets me is the grift. And the fact that the grift continues. And it's almost like we accept it. Oh, yeah, here she goes. She's going to go on the speaking circuit, blah, 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 blah. All right. Let's get to our second story of the day, ladies and gentlemen. Actually, no, we're not going to do that. Our second story of the day, if you thought the first story was pretty crazy, I got a better one. We're not going to do that. We are going to do this one.
On Latin.
This was, I got to credit Steve Cunningham. I gotta credit Steve Cunningham. He sent me this, and my jaw hit the floor when I watched this. So we've talked about what's happened in Charlotte at the traditional Latin Mass, and we chronicled it from the first to the back, and we talked about how, speak up, let the people of Charlotte deal with it, blah, 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 blah. Apparently, none of us did anything. Your prayers, your rosaries, your intentions, none of that did anything. Steve Bannon is the reason why Charlotte relaxed its restrictions on the Latin Mass.
Catholic News Herald, bishops grant request to pause restrictions on Latin Mass until Vatican's October deadline. How did this come about, Liz Yore?
Oh yeah, let's go to Liz Yor, which by the way, let's be completely transparent. Liz Yor follows me on X. I don't know how, but she does. Liz, I hope you don't take offense to anything, but I call out conservatives, liberals, any person, anywhere, any topic. And let's be real, before you even get into this, you have been nothing but uncharitable to the Holy Father since he's been in office. He wasn't in office for a week, and you started screaming about how he went to China and all of these other kinds of things. And you demanded all of these other things from the Holy Father. So let's see what she has to say about this.
Well, Steve, I don't know if it was the MAGA megaphone. I've heard from priests and Catholic.
The MAGA megaphone? Are you out of your blanking mind, woman? Can these people not go outside themselves for 10 seconds? The MAGA megaphone. No, I guarantee you it wasn't you screeching at clouds that did anything. See, these people profess to be Catholics, but I have never seen any of them talk about the power of prayer. No, the MAGA megaphone. Give me a blanket break.
From all over the country. They have never seen a firestorm of protest generated largely out of WarRoom. But
I didn't see WarRoom cover this at all. I've never seen any coverage from the WarRoom about this. And if it was, I guarantee it was uncharitable towards Rome, like a lot of other people were doing. No, this is not because of the MAGA megaphone and because of you, Liz Yor, screeching at clouds. The hubris on these people is mind-numbing, and they can't stop but grease their own wheels. Give me I'm going to start cussing, so I need to calm down. But we had to get.
Interestingly enough, what we did learn this afternoon, the bishop issued this announcement that he's going to wait till October 2nd. But what we have just found out, and this is kind of some Vatican intrigue, that I think the MAGA megaphone was heard in the Vatican.
No, the MAGA megaphone was never in the Vatican. No. Pope Leo is not sitting by his laptop going, "Oh, I wonder what Liz Yor thinks about what we're doing. Oh, I wonder what Steve Bannon thinks what we're doing." These people, uncharitable, prideful. Anybody else got one of the 7 deadly sins you see on display right now?
That there were reports from Rome this morning that the Pope met with the Cardinal Roach.
Wait. Do you like the Pope now, Liz? Are we good with the Pope? Because the last time you were on the show, you were screeching that he was a Chinese insider and that he had been to China several times because he was just a poor bishop from Peru. And how could he go to China 7 times? Oh, this is ridiculous. Now that he listens apparently to you, apparently he's got Liz Yor on speed dial. The man who's in charge of 1.4 billion Catholics is like, I'm not going to do anything else but listen to what Liz Yor is going to tell me.
Roach, who is in charge of divine worship. Cardinal Roach is the one who has been largely responsible for crushing the Latin Mass. He personally met with Pope Leo, although we don't know what they talked about. We get this announcement from Bishop Michael Martin this afternoon, temporarily walking back his suppression of the Latin Mass. And it could very well be that the American Pope heard from the hollering crowd from MAGA.
The hollering crowd from MAGA? No. Why don't you take a second, Liz? And with all due respect, shut your mouth. With all due respect. This is why women shouldn't be in politics and they shouldn't be in these positions. This is absolutely disgusting to hear her say these things. 100% gross that Pope Leo, now 5 minutes ago, he was awful. And we can't stand to have him because he's a secret Chinese open border. Remember he's an open borders, blah, blah, blah. She was freaking out that he was going to be Francis 2.0. Now he's listening to the MAGA mic. This is why podcasts are gross. This is why people who proclaim to be Catholic when it's convenient disgust me. And this whole thing disgusts me.
Wonder if Bishop Martin got a call from area code 379 in Vatican City asking him to turn down the heat on the new pope, which no doubt heard about the firestorm in Charlotte.
Yeah, you know why? Because people like Steve Cunningham and the priests in that diocese went through the proper chains and made it known. Now, obviously, the Vatican is in tune. I have a priest friend of mine who I respect greatly, and he said before the conclave that they kind of have an ear to social media, and yes, the maybe a little bit of the outcry was heard, but I doubt it was because of her or because of him. Steve Bannon does not have that much influence. And Liz Yore definitely does not have that. It is preposterous to even think that you do. MAGA does not exist out of these United States. MAGA certainly does not have a voice in the eternal city, in the place of the place of the Church of our Lord and Savior that was founded. The church on earth does not have a MAGA subscription. Let's just be completely honest about that. Okay? Because remember, MAGA is pro-IVF. MAGA is pro-LGBT. MAGA is for many things. MAGA is for unjust wars. MAGA is for many things that the Vatican and Catholics in general are not really down with. So let's taper down the prideful talking here, Liz. And by the way, feel free to unfollow me on X if you don't like what I have to say.
And I'm sure the Pope doesn't appreciate Bishop Martin ruining his papal honeymoon.
What are you talking about? You ruined it too. You ruined it too. I will be the only one that'll call this out. Let me do it. Let me do it. You ruined it because you called him an open border stooge, Francis 2.0. You called him a secret Chinese insider, essentially, because he went to China 7 times. Are we going to just mind forget this? Are we going to Men in Black neuralizer, whatever, nebulizer, just flash and forget about all that? I don't forget it, and I'll call you out on it. 100%. Ridiculous. You had just as much. You were just as ready to stomp all over this pontificate. You didn't even give him a moment to breathe.
But my phone is, the people in Charlotte are in an uproar. And Steve, interestingly, the bishops have criticized Trump about his migration policy. The people from the Latin Mass in Charlotte, many of them are Hispanics with big families who are homeschooling their children.
First of all, that's incorrect. Liz is completely wrong. And you know what? If you really want this, I will ask Steve Cunningham about this direct quote on Friday's News from the Pew. All right. There is not a huge contingent of Hispanic people that go to there may be some, but there's not this. Her information here is 100% wrong. I can credibly say 100% wrong on this one.
Driving their children, some of whom are altar boys in the Latin Mass, an hour to attend Latin.
She sounds like she just found out what the hell the Latin Mass is. Sorry, not what the hell Latin Mass is. That the Latin Mass exists.
Mass. They are just in such a fury about this.
What about the white people, Liz? What about the white people that go to the Latin Mass? Do they not matter? Is it a racist thing for you? Because that's what it sounds like. This is absolutely mind-numbingly stupid.
And, this is the Catholic bishops supposedly caring about the migrants, and this is how they're treated. So I think
this is an absolute stupid correlation. You have to be 100% and forgive me if you have to be retarded to go along with this line of thinking. You have to be. Okay? It was the priests. It was, the people in the diocese who were making overtures, who were asking for this. A lot of things that were done behind the scenes that Liz will never be privy to. But she's going to make up this magical folly in trying to connect one to two things. She has no legitimacy in this speak right now.
We're going to see a huge pushback. And I've talked to Catholics.
What about the Catholics in Indiana who lost the Latin Mass? There's another diocese, I think in Missouri, that just lost them. What about them, Liz? Do they matter? Do they matter to you? No, they don't.
Last 24 hours, they're going to be mounting protests, and they
ask anybody in the diocese. They're not mounting protests. They went to church on Sunday. You know what their protest was, Liz? They packed the Latin masses on Sunday. They showed their devotion on Sunday. I guarantee. I'd like to ask, does anybody going to ask her, when are these protests going to take place, Liz? When?
I think it's time for the bishops to start looking inward with respect to the Latin Mass. You know, the exorcists tell us, Steve, that the devil is afraid of Latin.
This lady literally sounds like she just found all this stuff on ChatGPT. There is no depth of knowledge to this. The exorcist tells us. You just literally looked at Taylor Marshall's feed, and I'm not throwing shade at Taylor Marshall. He said that many times. So has Anthony Stein. So has all of these people. And she can't. What exorcist? What are you talking about? That's literally a bumper sticker.
The devil hates Latin. And during an exorcism.
Does Liz know any Latin? Does she? Or are you just saying this because that's the popular thing to say right now?
He reels back when he hears the exorcism prayers in Latin. And, you know, the MAGA mothers want to educate their children in the traditional Catholic faith.
I just can't right now.
Because they want to arm them with the tools to fight evil, to fight the.
You know what? There's a lot of MAGA mothers that don't like Trump. There's a lot of people in the tradition. There was a huge debate in the traditional Latin Mass movement prior to the 2024 election. I remember having conversations with a lot of close, men that I consider brothers, men that I would trust with my life. We had discussions like, hey, are we going to vote for Trump or what? Because the IVF thing's not great. I know some, and I'm not going to name names because I don't want to blast people out. They didn't vote for Trump, and they have people, hardcore, better Catholics than I will ever be, have excoriated Trump since he's been in office for IVF, for all of these things. And she's trying to lump MAGA mothers in the Latin Mass movement. A lot of MAGA moms are not Latin Mass moms. Okay? They didn't like it when Trump came out and said he was going to vote in favor of the abortion bill in Florida. So let's just calm all of this down. It's nonsense.
Devil. And they find that in the Reverend traditional Latin Mass. And these immigrants are being punished by this bishop and frankly punished by the Vatican, who has been hell-bent on destroying the Latin Mass. So I think it's we've got to continue to stay focused on this. We got to continue to organize. This is
no, don't do anything, Liz. Sit on your couch and scream at clouds. How about you do that? Because everything you've just said has made everybody dumber.
You know, one day of bragging rights, but it's certainly not a victory lap. But this is a strategic, intentional, globalist project to destroy and de-Christianize the Catholic Mass.
Does she not realize that the Latin Mass is not huge outside of the United States and a couple other Western countries? Now, there are SSPX and ICE, Institute of Christ the King. They're all over the place. But most of the world practices a form of the Novus Ordo. Most of the world does. So this idea that she's even spreading false information here. The Latin Mass is mostly a West. Now, if I'm wrong, light me up in the comment section, right? Beat me up in the comment section if I'm wrong here. But the Latin Mass is not a huge rite across the world. I'm saying across the world from all 1.4 billion Catholics. It's a small percentage that do it. Now, as Mark is making it well known in the chat that I got every time these kick people do it, I got to stop that. Now, Mark is correct that the Latin Mass people happen to be the best donators. That's where a lot of the money comes from, because they are desperate to show that the Mass means something to them and they want to support that form of the liturgy. That's where a lot of money comes in, at least here in these United States. So Liz is she's making it sound like, you're going to the Congo and they're doing Latin Masses in the Congo or in, Chile or in any of these places. And that's just not the case.
So
we've got them to back off at least to October. We got to continue to
a firestorm.
You didn't do anything. You did not do anything. I will say this again. The people of Charlotte did this. Neither one of you old, washed up people did.
This is a strategic destroy.
This right now.
I'll be posting on my website, yourchildren.com, all information about who to contact in Charlotte to organize, as well as.
Do not listen to this woman. Do not follow her advice. Don't. You know why? And that's not me saying. That's Steve Cunningham and other Catholics in Charlotte. They're saying, stay out of the diocese. Let us handle it. Do not listen to Liz Yore. She is absolutely off her rocker. Off of her rocker. Could not wait to tell you that Pope Leo the 14th was Pope Francis 2.0. But now he listens to MAGA, apparently, which there's no proof of that. This is all speculation. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing to see this. It's disgusting and it's embarrassing. And as you can tell, I hate it. I hate it. I mean, and no matter what, I was about to get to that, Mark. I think, the people in the trad cath movement, like Marshall and Gordon, Stein, even the guys at AB, they do have big followings, right? And I don't agree with everything they said when it came to this kind of stuff, but I would trust any of those guys because at least they do it, right? This is their thing. This is their area. Liz Yore just kind of shows up whenever she can make a little bit of name for it. Go to my website so you can. No, stay away from her website. Stay away from it. It's gross. Gross. Can't stand it, man. All right, this is Rick Cass. Like, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell. Now, once again, you can find this on YouTube in the link in the description box down below. But I need to continue to promote our good friend Dean Oaks. It's his birthday today, by the way. Happy birthday, Dean. I hope you're having a great birthday. And I think we can help make his birthday a little bit better if we can help contribute to his GoFundMe. He is having surgery soon, and he needs to raise some significant funds in order to help cover the costs of the surgery. So the link is in the YouTube description down below. If you are interested in helping out Dean, you can reach out to me on X or email barrettbrief@gmail.com and let me know if you are interested in helping our good friend Dean Oaks, because he's in some need, and he's a great man, and he's a very good friend of mine, and we need to do what we can to help him. All right. Next story of the day. So, yeah, this was going to happen. This was going to happen. It was 100%. You had two big personalities, and of course, eventually it's gonna run its course. Usually when big personalities get together, one of them rubs the other one the wrong way, and we end up in a situation like this. So This story out of Newsweek. Parts of Trump's coalition disillusion as Musk rips the big, beautiful bill. Now, we need to establish some boundaries here. Elon Musk has never been a Republican. He's never been a conservative. He's a liberal. He just saw the writing on the wall and decided to jump on the Trump bandwagon to ensure that things like Starlink and SpaceX and Tesla would continue to receive government support. That's it. And the fact that people on the right, and this is kind of what we were talking about with Nala yesterday, we're so quick, and that's what we're talking about with Karine Jean-Pierre. We're so desperate to welcome these people and, oh yeah, you're our friend now. And then they just eventually they turn their back and they go back to their natural way of thinking. So billionaire Elon Musk sharply rebuked President Trump's quote unquote big, beautiful bill this week, sparking both praise and backlash. An analyst told Newsweek that a slice of Trump's coalition is now getting disillusioned by him, and Musk is the most recent example of what? Disillusioned by Trump? Okay. Musk was chosen by Trump to lead the Department of Government Efficiency during the president's first few months of his second term. Since January, Trump has enacted sweeping cuts, which have not been codified by Congress, so they don't mean anything. The SpaceX CEO pushed for Doge to gain access to the most sensitive places. Musk has also faced a fiery backlash for his drastic cuts to budgets. Amid the uproar, Tesla cars and property was damaged. The reconciliation bill, known as the big, beautiful bill, as Trump calls it, is a key avenue for Republicans to push forward with the White House agenda following widespread GOP election in November. Key GOP holdouts in the House and Senate have voiced opposition to the bill over fears of raising the national debt. They're talking about Rand Paul, Thomas Massie, those kinds of people. Now, in a post on X, formerly Twitter, which Elon Musk owns, Musk ripped the piece of legislation saying, "I'm sorry, but I just can't stand it anymore. This massive, outrageous, pork-filled congressional spending bill is a disgusting abomination. Shame on those who voted for it. You know you did wrong. You know it." So the White House reacted. Now, this is an issue of, by the way, I completely agree. X is actually a dead website. It's just Trump slop and AI slop. But this is a businessman. Elon Musk is not a politician. He's a businessman. So he doesn't understand. And this is not, I'm not in favor of this, but this is how the sausage is made in DC right now. And it's going to be like this until, something happens, some kind of shift happens. But the fact of the matter is, that's how Congress does it. They shove everything into one bill and then they roll it through, even though people like Marjorie Taylor Greene are like, oh yeah, I forgot to read page 289 about AI. My bad. But the White House reacted to Musk's condemnation on Tuesday as Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said, look, the president already knows where Elon Musk stood. He doesn't change the president's opinion. In a new post on next Wednesday, Musk doubled down. New spending bill should be drafted that doesn't massively grow the deficit and increase the debt ceiling by $5 trillion. I think we can all agree on that. We don't want the government to spend more money. The government is going to spend more money because they just print it out of thin air, and they're going to continue to do it until the dollar is pretty much worthless, and then they can introduce UBI. But of course, I didn't say that, did I? Maybe I did. But the Republican infighting is a distinct turn from Musk's MAGA loyalty and near constant presence during his second term. Musk attacking Trump's bill that the House passed highlighted the conflict among Republicans, especially now in the Senate, over passage of the reconciliation bill purposely designed to avoid the needed 60 votes and a Democratic filibuster. If it does not pass the Senate or otherwise not make it to Trump's desk by the summer, it will at a minimum greatly embarrass the Trump administration. Yeah, because the House and the Senate, Trump has Congress and the executive, and they've done essentially nothing. They've done nothing. But then again, it's Washington, D.C. If it's not done by executive order, it doesn't get done. This embarrassment also puts Republicans in the Senate and the House in a tough spot, since this could affect Republican control of the House and even put control of the Senate in jeopardy. I don't think the Senate is. The House, most likely, definitely. This is currently the Senate's responsibility. Trump needs this control of Congress to pass legislation and prevent Democratic-controlled House, especially from starting investigations of his blah, 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 whatever. He also noted that Musk's jab at the bill may make this only marginally more difficult, while noting that he still has his MAGA base. All this is, and Michael Thomas, we highlighted your comment earlier. This is just a messy breakup. Elon's tired of dealing with the stuff in government because government is not business. He's essentially, Musk is going through the same thing that Trump went through in his first administration, where I'm a businessman. Why can't things just get done in a business manner? We got to go through all these other channels. Well, I have a lot of things in this bill that I want to get through, but the only way to get it through and to get enough votes is people are going to demand that we raise the debt ceiling. And that's what happens when you have Congress. You have different branches. You're going to have to negotiate. And unfortunately, they're going to negotiate for some crappy things. And the fact is, Musk was never going to stay around. This may be, the way I'm looking at it, the perfect exit strategy for Elon, right? Elon is, I think, been looking for a way out because I don't think he wants to do this anymore. Remember, Elon Musk has the attention span. He doesn't like to play with his toys for long. He's always doing different projects. He's always doing 5 things at once. And I think he's tired of being bogged down in the day-to-day operations of government. We have a comment from Rumble MDD229. Seems like all the excitement of the first few months of Trump 2.0 is dead. I'd agree with that, but that's just government, right? It's hard to keep excitement going for that much longer, especially when things seem to have been held up by judges. And then you're getting into the nitty gritty of the congressional turmoil and all these other kinds of things. Government is not exciting. It shouldn't be exciting. And I think what you're seeing here, I think Musk is actually using this as an exit strategy because he's bored. He doesn't want to do it. He just doesn't want to do this anymore. He got in there. He realized there's nothing I can do. I've made sure that my contracts are safe. I don't want to do this anymore. And that's really what I see here. I don't see anything more than that. It's 2 big personalities that are tired of playing with each other. Trump got elected. I'm sure Musk got promises from Trump. I won't touch your stuff. Your stuff is going to be fine. And so forth, right? He's run away. The $5,000 checks, they went straight to the pockets of people in Congress, or they went to defense contractors. You ain't ever seen that $5,000. But then again, that's Musk. Remember, Musk promises all kinds of things, and rarely do they happen. So, let him go running back to start, talking about colonizing Mars or whatever the case may be. Or maybe he can get his 17th baby mama impregnated with IVF or whatever. Then there's Planetaire, I don't know. It's not Peloton, Planetaire, which is coming, And so there we have that AI to deal with, and that whole thing, that government run through AI. But it doesn't really shock me that these 2 big personalities. Yeah. Elon has been I guarantee you, he's been promised by Trump and people in the administration, his $1 billion contracts aren't going anywhere. And that's the real reason why he supported Trump. That's the real reason he supported Trump. I think he had a feeling that if Kamala or these other people got into office, liberals he didn't agree with, that that those things may be in jeopardy. Because if there's a candidate he agrees with in the next cycle, I guarantee you that he will vote for a Democrat coming up. I guarantee it, just because. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So let's get. I don't have a lot of thoughts on that. It's 2 big personalities. It's the band breaking up. He's tired of doing it. He doesn't like the day-to-day sludge of government, and I get it. Whatever. I'm not heartbroken by it. I don't think anybody else should be either. All right, last story of the day, ending on kind of a funny note. Marvel Comics introduces T'Challa's white son, Kamita, as the future Black Panther and King of Wakanda. So Marvel did the meme. This is canon, so we can have Ryan Gosling be the next Black Panther. I think that's really why they did this, because we all want to see Ryan Gosling as the next Black Panther, because that's been a meme for about 6 years. In a move that is sure to cause the exact explosion of discourse that it was intended to, Marvel Comics has kicked off their latest visit to their Marvel Knights imprint with the revelation that at some point in the near future of Earth 616, T'Challa will find himself challenged for both the Wakandan throne and Black Panther by his heir apparent, his blonde-haired, white-skinned son, Kamita. Which, by the way, if he's a blonde-haired, blue-eye, his name needs to be like Peter. Like, his name's not going to be Kamita or whatever. But that's funny. So apparently, T'Challa, Jungle Fever. Anyway, unbelievably as it may seem, this twist to Wakanda's canon was confirmed in the debut issue, Marvel Knights: The World to Come miniseries. The latest title in the Marvel Knights imprint, as originally created by Quesada to denote those books that were a bit too edgy for the publisher's general audience. The World to Come flings readers into the near future of the Marvel Universe to find a Wakanda embroiled in political unrest, and the new resistance group known as the Aquamarines wages on a coup attempt against the country's traditional ruling regime. And these are all panels, who cares? As to how the world's most advanced nation found itself state-ish way, blah, 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 I don't care. All we know is he gets beat up, and then we find out that the new Black Panther is this guy, your blonde-haired, blue-eyed dude. No further details have been presented about his background. I'm sure it'll be like IVF or something. That's how it was done. But this is hysterical. Because, yeah, he's pretty much Tarzan. They pretty much brought Tarzan into the MCU. And the funny thing is, like, there's this huge part of the black population that always talks about, like, Wakanda, and, you know, they talk about it like it's a real place. And this is just gonna be great. This is gonna be great for people to be like, yeah, by the way, Wakanda is now ruled by a white man. So I don't know what you want me to do about it. I don't know what you want me to do about it. Wakanda's got a white king. This is not even you can call me a racist. This is Marvel doing it, man. And guess what? It did the exact thing it needed to do, which was generate headlines. Because I guarantee you, people are gonna be mad. How dare you do this? Like, you can't have a white guy run Wakanda. Hey, man, blame T'Challa. You know, T'Challa was weak. And now you got a white guy. Which, by the way, secondly, T'Challa's genes are not very strong if his kid's blonde-haired, blue-eyed. You'd figure he'd be at least not both of those things. I'm sure they're going to find a way to, like, tie him into, you know, the Yahtzees, and he's like a great, great descendant of the Mustache Man. They'll find some way to do this, but I just thought y'all would find that funny. I think it's hysterical. And I will give it to Marvel Comics. That's a heck of a troll to throw out there. And by the way, T'Challa has got a white kid, and the white kid's now the king. So, haha. All right. That's it for this episode of Recast. Once again, show note for tomorrow. Tomorrow, the show will be at 5 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Eastern, because I have tickets to see the Ballerina movie, the John Wick movie, Ballerina, at 7 p.m. my time, 7 p.m. Central. And as you can see, we go about an hour and a half every time. So tomorrow's going to be a quicker show, and it's going to start at 5 p.m. Central Time. If you can't make it live, the show will be available in replay. Please come by and hang out tomorrow. Make sure you leave a comment and anything that you liked on the show. But it will be live. And if you can, I hope to see you tomorrow at 5 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Eastern for our live episode of Rickcast. Because I want to make sure I get to see Ballerina so I can have a review on it on Rickcast Reviews for Friday morning. So tomorrow, 5 p.m. Central Time, that is when the show will start, 5 p.m. Central. All right, that's it for this episode of Rickcast. Please do me a favor on your way out the door. Like, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell, pound the like button, super kick the like button, do whatever you got to do. Subscribe if you haven't, if you like this content. Everybody on Getter, do me a favor, repost the show. Everybody on Rumble, you guys are definitely commenting, and I love it. Make sure if you're new, hit the subscribe button as well. I will see you guys tomorrow, 5 p.m. Central Time here on Rickcast. Tomorrow, 5 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Eastern. God bless, and until that day comes, free Dexter Taylor.